right, so welcome everyone to another episode of In Conversation With, and today we will be speaking with Mrs. Zanele, who is a great force in the tobacco control journey for Africa generally. And today we are going to be speaking about the tobacco control bill in South Africa. Without much ado, we are going to go straight into our questions for Mrs. Zanele. So, Mrs. Zanele, can you tell us, the South Africa bill has recently, been rocked by the passage of the tobacco. Pardon me. So South Africa has recently been rocked by the passage of the tobacco control law, through the parliament on the 31st of May. And the introduction of this law has provoked a lot of reaction in the country, positively and negatively. Can you tell us more about the provisions of the law, that has been introduced in the South African parliament?
Thank you, Esther. I must say it's a privilege to be talking to you on the South African bill. Yes, indeed. We are super excited that finally the bill is before the Parliamentary Health Committee. It's been a long journey, but we are here now and we won't back down. We're pushing forward. Before I delve into the key provisions of the bill, I think it's important that I indicate to you that this is not the first bill or the first legislation once passed into law. South Africa's first Tobacco Control Act was promulgated in 1993. Subsequent to that, it's been amended 3 times. Therefore, the current bill is the 4th amendment. And the reason why these amendments, you may want to ask. At this point in time, the 3 past amendments to the Principal Act of 1993, there are loopholes, there are serious loopholes in the existing legislation. Number 2, the existing Tobacco Control Act does not cover electronic delivery systems. As you know, we have a new devil now within the tobacco space, the electronic delivery systems, the likes of electronic cigarettes. They are not covered in the existing law. Therefore, this bill incorporates the electronic delivery systems as well. As such, the proper name of the bill is Tobacco Products and Electronic Delivery Systems Control Bill. That's the full name. However, as I engage with you now, I will refer to it as the bill or the Tobacco Control Bill because the name is quite long, but it's important for people to understand that that is the full name. Coming back to your question regarding the key provisions of the bill, there's quite a lot, but I'll only touch on the 5 key tenets, what we call the 5 key tenets. Remember also that the other reason why we have this bill is to move towards full alignment, full domestication of the FCTC, because we are a party to the convention. So the 5 key tenets, what are they of the bill? 1, the bill proposes a 100% ban of smoking and the use of electronic delivery systems in indoor public places as well as other outdoor public spaces. The second key tenet of the bill is a ban on the sale of cigarettes and electronic delivery systems in vending machines. Currently, the current bill allows the sale of these products. Right? Now, the current law, but this bill, it bans the sale of these products in vending machines. Why? Number 1, vending machines have no age restriction, right? Number 2, whilst they are supposed to be placed only in designated smoking areas, what we have discovered is that the establishment, the restaurants, they place the vending machines anywhere where they can be accessed by young people as well. But also number 3, the third challenge with vending machines is that it's an advertisement of these products. So it's advertising them. So to avoid all that and to prevent young people from impulsive buying, unintended buying, but also from advertising them and initiating, because when they see them, they will buy and initiate. What government has done, the bill, it bans the sale of these products in the vending machines. The third component is the point of sale. This bill, it bans advertisement and marketing, promotion of these products at a point of sale. Right now, what we know and what we are seeing throughout the country is that the industry, as we know, they are so innovative. What they are doing now at a point of sale, for instance, at a till point, they are advertising tobacco products. They've got mats. On the mats next to a till point, you've got designs, nice designs that depict certain brands, your Stuyvesant, Peter Stuyvesant, your Marlboro, including the new products, your electronic cigarettes. And all over the point of sale, you find that the retail owners, what they do when they place them at a point of sale, they place them in a manner that creates a nice visual, colorful visual that creates a certain pattern. And the brand names are so visible. Nothing else is visible except the brand name, those colors, and so on and so forth. That is advertisement, that is marketing. And so this bill, it bans all that at the point of sale, advertisement and marketing at the point of sale. The fourth aspect is, of course, the regulation of electronic delivery systems. It's the first time South Africa regulates electronic delivery systems. Remember, the act that we have, the current tobacco control laws, they do not include electronic delivery systems. Why? Because they were not there when we were formulating these laws. These are new, they came into our market like 10, 12 years ago. Now it's important that because of the harm, the evidence about the harm and the fact that the youth is so attracted to these products, government is doing the right thing by regulating them. So they are regulated. We're not banning, we're regulating. But in hindsight, to be honest, government agrees that, well, we should have just banned this product. But it's okay, we're starting by regulating. Hopefully in the next few years, then the law will be amended and we look into full banning. And yeah, those are the key tenets of the bill. Oh, the fifth important one, it's plain packaging and graphic health warnings. I almost forgot. Plain packaging and graphic health warnings. Currently, the current laws, they require that the industry is still allowed, to place their logos, to place their brand names, and to place the name of the brand itself, the cigarette itself, and so on. Now, this law is banning that. What's going to happen now, we're following the guidance of the FCTC, but also we're learning lessons from other countries in the region, in particular, that have implemented the graphic health warnings in particular. Of course, the problem we have now, the current packaging of cigarette products, the front pack is 15%, they are allowed 15% of to put the warnings, the health warnings, 15% space, and at the back is 25%. But what do? The entire package is full of their brand names and advertisement of their products. And you find that the health warnings are so minimal, you really need to put glasses to read the health warning. Also, number 2, what happens to people that can't read? How are we alerting them about the dangers of those products? Hence, the importance of ensuring that these products, including, by the way, the electronic cigarettes, they will all have plain packaging with graphic health warning. So those are the 5 key tenets of the bill. And we really are looking forward to the bill coming into force.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Zanele. That was quite insightful. And I really like the fact that the bill, is looking into the details of this battle against the tobacco industry. As they say, the devil is in the detail, and we believe that that's what the industry has been using, so far. So it's really important that this bill is passed as soon as possible, and I believe this would be, a force that every other country in the continent would reckon with. So we really are looking forward to this one. So there's a follow-up question to this. We've heard that from various sources that the tobacco industry, of course, is opposed to the adoption of the bill. Can you tell us what's happening exactly? What's going on?
Great question, Esther. Indeed, the same tactics they employ throughout the globe, they're employing here, and it's not the first time, neither is it the second time. For instance, they were hoping that this bill won't even reach cabinet. So when it reached cabinet, they were up in arms, thinking that and trying to sway cabinet not to allow the bill to progress to parliament. They've employed every tactic in their book, right? Firstly, policy interference. They've tried, and I'm happy to say they have failed. And we applaud our policymakers, right from the Department of Health and any other department that is involved, to all the DGs of all the departments, particularly of health, to the minister and the deputy minister, the entire leadership within the Ministry of Health. We applaud them for not backing down. The industry has written letters to even the president, the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Speaker of Parliament, expressing their dissatisfaction, complaining about the They've been consulted, not once, not twice, so many times. Since 2018, the first time the bill was advertised for public comments, even the period before that, they were consulted numerous times. But as we know, the industry will never accept that they've been consulted if you do not agree with them. For the tobacco industry, consultation means agreeing with them. We know that, we've learned that throughout the years. So they're complaining that they were never consulted when they were numerous times. There's documented evidence to that effect. Number two, they are pushing for a separate regulation of e-cigarettes, electronic cigarettes. And this, we know they do it all over. They use the narrative of the harm reduction, less harm. The claim that the electronic cigarettes are 95% less harmful than the conventional cigarettes. And to date, they haven't produced evidence to that effect. And even in South Africa, even up until yesterday, they are pushing that narrative that no, the regulation of electronic cigarettes should be separate from the regulation of conventional cigarettes. And government has not backed down. The two are regulated similarly in the same legislation. I told you the name of this bill is Tobacco Product and Electronic Delivery Systems Control Bill. So they're regulated under one. Every other measure that is espoused, that is proposed to regulate conventional cigarettes, will regulate electronic delivery systems. Same packaging, graphic health warnings, and so on and so forth. Now, the third tactic that they're employing, of course, they're going all around. They are running petitions against the bill, placing the petitions on huge billboards in strategic areas at the airport, OR Tambo Airport, Cape Town Airport, next to big malls, upmarket malls, next to schools, next to major highways in South Africa. Why? To attract society into these huge and colorful billboards and for them to not support the bill. For instance, they use language like, hands off my choice. It is my choice to smoke. It is my choice to use electronic cigarettes. Forgetting that it's not a choice. People are into these products simply because of addiction, which they are perpetuating every single day because of the gains, their selfishness to gain at the expense of the health of the nation. So they're running those petitions. They are also peddling misinformation. They are deliberately misinterpreting the bill and communicating that misinformation to society. And well affair, the contents of the bill, we believe them, right? And despite anything else that anyone says. So what are they saying to society to misinform them? They are saying the bill is banning the use of tobacco products and electronic delivery systems. The bill is not banning that. The bill is very clear. The bill says you only need to use these products out, not in indoor public spaces, not in a car where you have your children under the age of 12 years, not in an area where the smoke will diffuse into your neighbors. For instance, in apartments, in high-rise apartments, the neighbor is next door and the windows are open. You are smoking in your balcony. Of course, the smoke will seep through to the neighbor. Already we've got complaints, people complaining about that. So they are saying to people, the bill is banning the use of these products. The bill is not doing that, it's regulating. That is a strategy to gain sympathy from the public, but also what they are doing, they exploit the economic situation of the country currently. The economy is ailing right now. And so they are saying, they are exaggerating their economic importance they do all over. They're telling the public that they contribute enormously to the fiscus of this country in terms of taxes, and which is so incorrect. They are saying they are creating enormous jobs, which is so incorrect. Because, why am I saying that? We already have evidence, economic evidence, from the UCT, University of Cape Town, the RIP unit, that shows that economically, the industry is creating a huge loss to government. For every R1 contributed by the tobacco industry into the national fiscus in the form of taxes, government loses 3.5 rands. Do you hear that? For every R1 contributed by the tobacco industry into the fiscus in the form of taxes, government loses 3.5 rands. So who loses here? Would you still say they are contributing to the national fiscus? No, they are only creating a loss because government has to mop up the damage. Why? As they contribute 12 billion rands annually, government pays 42 billion rands, loses 42 billion rands due to loss of productivity when people die early in their productive years, due to tobacco-related diseases and death, right? People dying because of tobacco-related diseases, due to absent from work, those who are in the productive years. When people are absent from work because of tobacco-related illnesses, there's a reduced productivity in the industry where that relies on, for instance, in the motor production companies where they have to produce so many cars a day, they produce less. If there are so many numbers of people that are absent, absenteeism, it's a problem. Even absenteeism in other important sectors like education, when young people who use these products are absent from school, the pushback is huge. They've tried everything and anything. They have even engaged with policymakers when the bill was public, when the Ministry of Health engaged with the Health Committee in Parliament on the 31st of May, the World No Tobacco Day. We were there. We listened. And some of the opposition parties, they were literally reading from the script of the industry against the bill moving forward, against the bill passed into law. So those are the tactics they are pushing. Enormous, there's so many.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Zanele. You have said it all, and I believe you have laid down the facts about the bill. You have given us the details, about the bill and why it's very important that this happens now, because we can't even afford delay anymore. With the increase that you just mentioned, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And just if you multiply that by the thousands of youths that utilize these products, it tells a very negative tale about the future, and we can't afford to sit and watch this happen. It has been a great pleasure having you on this episode of In Conversation With, and we do look forward to the passage of this bill, and hopefully, not fingers crossed, hopefully we know that this is going to happen, and we look forward to this happening this year. Thank you so much, Mrs. Zanele. Do you have any final words for the audience just before we proceed?
Yes, indeed, Esther. I do need to mention that this is for the good of Africa. If prevalence reduces in one country, it doesn't help if in other countries it increases. So we need to see a smoke-free Africa in years to come. We need to see a smoke-free African generation in years to come. And we do need to see, we're making a clarion call to the leadership of Africa, the African Union, to take tobacco control seriously, because it doesn't only serve, it won't only benefit member countries, it will benefit the continent as a whole. Agenda 2063, which is the AU agenda for development in Africa, we can never achieve that. The aspirations of Agenda 2063 of the African Union can never be achieved if, amongst others, tobacco control, meaningful and evidenced tobacco control measures are not adopted in Africa in line with the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, which most of us have ratified as member countries. And therefore, I'm making a clarion call to the African Union. I'm making a clarion call to all the policymakers, to all the leadership of Africa to take tobacco control seriously. It's also to ensure that Africa moves towards the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. Poverty is a major problem, and we know the link between poverty, between tobacco and poverty. And Africa is one of the countries that is bedeviled by poverty. So to reduce poverty in Africa and ensure that there's proper development, we do need to ensure that tobacco control and tobacco control measures, evidence-based tobacco control measures, are instituted, and we support each other. We will see proper development in Africa. We will see a reduction in tobacco-related diseases in Africa, and therefore a reduction in non-communicable diseases in Africa, and therefore a thriving economies in Africa. When economies thrive, there's proper development in Africa, and Africa will develop, and Africa will grow beyond the level it is now. We will achieve Agenda 2063, the aspirations of Agenda 2063 of the African Union. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Zanele. You have said it all. The passage of the Tobacco Control Bill is indeed the right step in the positive direction, if development, of our country and of our continent is what we desire. And thank you so much once again, everyone, for joining us on this episode of In Conversation With. Till we meet again on the next episode. I am Esther Ahuto from Nigeria. Bye.